Welcome to the Statesman Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us again. My name is Swat. And before we go on, like always, I would urge you to please subscribe, like, and share this podcast so that it can go far and wide. Well, like you always know, right here, we try to take a look at some of the very important issues in politics governance. Well, it's no news that the campaigns have started in earnest, and it's a good thing for us because I think it's a great time for Nigerians to get to listen to the candidates. We'll be examining some of the developing issues as it relates to all the political parties, but with specific reference to the PDP, some of the strengths, weaknesses, challenges that lie before the PDP, and what chances do they actually have as the 2023 election edges closer and closer. Today I'm joined by an educationist. He is Ahmed Ahmed Kunku. He's an educationist, like I said. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much.
All right. Like I said, the campaigns have started, we all know. So what are your, what are you looking for as the campaigns have started right now?
Okay, first and foremost, I'm here on behalf of our group PDP New Generation, and I am the spokesperson of the National Strategic Committee of the PDP New Generation. Actually, the campaign so far, as you can see, PDP is the only party that has started at least with a book launch and also its inauguration.
Yes.
When other parties are there suspending their own campaign council, when other parties have not even had campaign council, but the PDP have forged ahead to even add a book launch to it so that we can keep us on our toes. So we are hopeful that this yesterday's event is a foundation for what is about to come before the February elections 2023.
Yeah, but the PDP also suffered a little blow to the campaign council when we heard about the news of some of the governors, some of the big wigs, withdrawing because of that little impasse within the PDP. Do you want to talk to us about that?
Yes, obviously it's not a heavy blow. It's a game of interest actually, and we are still working towards it so that everybody will be carried along. Like we said, those that didn't make it did not do it because they are aggrieved with the party. They did it because of other interests, probably, or maybe because of their schedules. And the crisis in the PDP, it's even a good one because it's open, so there's room for negotiation. Unlike other parties where you don't even know where the crisis lie, and we've inaugurated our own campaign council, as you can see, but other people have suspended theirs. So I can tell you that in a clash of interest, there's obviously a disagreement, but hopefully before we move forward, I think we'll settle down. Everybody will be on board.
Yeah. Now, one of the major criticisms I often hear Nigerians make about the PDP is the fact that if the PDP are unable, as at this time, very critical as it is, to get its house together, how much do we hope to see the PDP do for Nigerians? Because we can't take away the fact that Nigeria is highly divided. So bringing it maybe to the micro level at which the PDP is a reflection of what is happening. So if the PDP can't get their acts together as one house, what is the hope that they're able to get Nigerians together and unify? Because I know that's one of the big, purpose, or one of the, part of the campaign promises of Atiku Abubakar.
You see, the hardest pill to swallow, or the most annoying part of it, is that the APC government have reduced this country to a north versus south thing, to a Muslim versus a Christian thing, and it has affected virtually everybody along party lines, along respective religious lines. It is affecting even the bedrock of our families. So obviously, it's not only the PDP. You stand to see this crisis happening. But as you can see, there was a meeting of the NEC where they gave a vote of confidence, and some positions in the PDP were changed. The chairman of the BOT, who happens to be from the north, was relieved, and then somebody from the south, Adolphus Wabare, took over that position. And at the same time, a vote of confidence was passed to the NEC. So this type of things is to show you that the PDP is a listening party,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, they are making changes, and we've made changes with the BOT. And if there's another change to carry anybody along, it will be. But for now, we are trying to see how we can harmonize to win election. Winning election is the most important thing. You can't go into election divided.
Yeah.
So we are trying to see how we can win elections before you come and divide those interests of the party. So I think we are good to go, obviously.
Okay. So I mean, we cannot, continue this conversation without mentioning the Wiki factor. We know how Wiki has been very vocal,
Obviously.
and for a lot of people, I've heard it's people who are supportive or are supporters of the PDP talk about how embarrassing that has been for the PDP. I mean, do you consider his aloofness after the constitution of the presidential council and all of that, and some of his supporters or allies who have stayed away? I mean, what do you think about that? How much of a blow is that also going to deal on the PDP? Because we're looking at some of the weaknesses, but then we'll also explore the strengths.
Okay. Obviously, Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State is a leader of the party.
Yeah.
He's a stakeholder. His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is also a leader of the party, a stakeholder. All of them have their grievances. All of them are right, and all of them, we can say, have their opinions. But to be honest, what I will say is His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar doesn't have the power to relieve the chairman of the party. The power vested to relieve the chairman of the party is vested in the NEC. And the NEC have met when they were appointing a new BOT to say they've passed a vote of confidence on the chairman of the party. If the NEC had passed a vote of no confidence, the chairman of party has to go. But the NEC has already passed, and the constitution has stated it clear that in a case where Ayu, who is the chairman of the party, goes, the next person in line that takes over that position is the deputy vice, not who is Damagun. So you cannot say the seat must go to the south. That means you are automatically infringing on your own constitution.
True.
Because at the end of the day, the constitution of the party is supreme and it's above anybody. So what they are asking is that the chairmanship seat should go to the south. And that means you are infringing on your own constitution. So how can Nigerians trust a party that will break their own constitution? And the party is saying, let's go into the election. If we win at this moment, then we come back and change. Because by removing Ayu now, you might go into a new convention. And if you go into a new convention, you might change the whole seat. How many days to election? I think yesterday the campaigns have started.
Yeah.
So what time do you have to do all that before you get a new chairman? And when the chairman comes, he settles the crisis and move forward. You see, history is very important. During Goodluck Jonathan time around 2014, the same thing happened. We changed the party chairman towards the election. Bamanga Chukwu went out and we bought Adamu Mahazu. And it cost us that election. And the PDP is saying, we don't have to repeat the same mistake. Let us go into the election, because during Yaradwa's time, Yaradua was the candidate and Ahmadu Ali was also the chairman. And when Yaradua won the election, Ahmadu Ali resigned. So we are saying, Ayu will already automatically resign if we win the election for a person from the south. And the constitution said presidential candidate, not presidential aspirant. So Ayu has to go if Atiku Abubakar wins the ticket. But not now. We cannot infringe on the constitution. Even though their grievances, I may say, it's correct. But the constitution has stated it clear, and nobody is above the constitution.
How much of a blow is that going to deal on the block votes? Because we know that Rivers State is very key when it comes to election and the numbers in Nigeria. We know the key places that we consider, and Rivers State is one of such. How much of a blow, or do you think it's inconsequential at this point in time? Do you think Atiku Abubakar can go and talk to the people and they would convincingly vote for him?
I think if I followed Governor Nyesom Wike throughout his coming out to talk all over, and there is no place where he said, I have left the PDP.
Yes, he keeps insisting he's still part of the PDP.
And the last conference he had after putting up his grievances, he said it, that I am still in the PDP and the PDP is still the best party. So for now, I will take it that he is in the PDP and he will work for the PDP. Except otherwise, if he comes out and said, vote for another candidate who is not the candidate of our party. So for now, I think we are good to go, even in Rivers. So until he says otherwise.
All right, I like the confidence. We're still good to go because, yeah, like you rightly said, Wike has always emphasized, I'm still a member of the PDP. You're still watching the Statesman podcast with Swat Dunia. We'll take this quick break and then we'll conclude our discussion this day. Stay with us. Thank you so much for rejoining us. We bring you the concluding part of our discussion, looking at the chances of the PDP. First of all, exploring what are some of the weaknesses, as you've heard us talk about. We'll look at the strengths this time around. Or before we do that, let me also ask one other factor that has come into play. The third was, or the LP, we're seeing a whole lot of, noise, uproar about Nigerians and the LP. I mean, how much of a threat or weakness does that constitute for the PDP as a party?
You see, first of all, I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
The block votes that will go for LP are originally PDP votes, and obviously you will say PDP as the biggest party in Africa because PDP is without PDP there wouldn't be any LP.
Yeah.
Without PDP there wouldn't be NNPP. So those small parties are an infliction of PDP. But to be honest with you, I've said it yesterday and I'll say it here again. There is no cause for alarm because obviously to win the elections, you must have a spread in each of the geopolitical zones. We have 6 geopolitical zones and I can break it up to you. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is the candidate of the APC,
yes.
Cannot win even 10% in Southeast, cannot win even 10% in South-South. It's, what do you call of the LP? Peter Obi of the LP cannot win more than 10% in the Northwest, cannot win more than 10% in the Northeast. Likewise, Konkoso of the NNPP, he cannot win more than 5% in Southeast, cannot win more than 5% in South-South, cannot win more than 10% in Southwest. So each of them have their weaknesses. His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is the only candidate that can win more than 10% of vote in the 6 geopolitical zones.
But what informs this confidence?
From the 2019 elections and from the governors on ground, you can see that in the last election he had close to 9 million votes in his pocket. So he has that widespread of votes across. And I can tell you, no matter the crisis, we will have. Yesterday, you saw him in Enugu. Yeah. You saw the kind of reception he received. And no matter how bad it is, we'll get more than 10% of votes in South-South and Southeast. In fact, I can tell you confidently we are winning the South-South.
Wow, I like that confidence. All right, now one of the great advantages for me, listening to Nigerians speak and, sampling lots of varieties, the fact that, number one, Atiku Abubakar, like you try to analyze, seems to have this detribalized acceptance by all. You find whether it's the Yorubas, the Igbos, and the Hausas, he has some sort of support. I often hear, I don't know, many of them have tried to debunk, but that Peter Obi has some sort of coloration around his support base, and then also, the same thing for the APC candidate, who is Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Now, also, we've seen the 5-point agenda that he has brought, which I think is quite commendable. Now, how much of that do you think it's going to work as a strength for the PDP?
Atiku, His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is the only candidate who have said he's the unifier, who have kept on insisting on unifying this country because we've been divided along ethnic and religious lines. Apart from that, he has backed it up with issues. Since 1999, there is no northerner that has done to the Igbos what His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has done. He picked a running mate who is an Igbo, Peter Obi, in 2019. His personal doctor, whom he trusts with his life for over 30 years, is an Igbo man. By virtue of his marital status, he has an Igbo wife. He has a Yoruba wife. So when it comes to all virtues of intrigues of life, His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar doesn't see you as an Igbo, a Hausa, a Yoruba, or a Muslim or a Christian. He sees you as a Nigerian and what you have to offer. Don't forget, he was the person that brought the likes of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the likes of Charles Soludo into the administration that gave Nigeria one of the best economy in Africa that time. So I think it's obviously clear that if he walks around, you see it in him. Is the unifying figure. You see the way he carries himself. Unlike others, you cannot point one or two things they've done for people who are not from their own tribe or religion. So that's why I think the best person to unify this country at the same time is Alhaji Atiku Abubakar.
You know, one of the worst things happening to Nigeria at this moment is the desecration of our economy. The economy has practically, or is at the brink of collapse at this moment. And I often get to hear people make reference to Atiku Abubakar's involvement, like you rightly said, during the Obasanjo regime or administration, how he was instrumental to bringing some of the best brains together. How do you think this is going to come into work for him to his advantage, especially during this campaign period? Do Nigerians need to be reminded, or how would that work?
I think I must take that as a weakness on our side, that his media handlers or his promoters actually have not promoted him in a way for Nigerians to remember all the things they've done. I think you don't need to come out and sell Atiku Abubakar. Atiku Abubakar is a brand already, because if you look at his the things you've done, you can drive that message to yourself. So we need to do a lot more on telling people what you have done. On education, he has the American University of Nigeria. During the COVID-19, where all schools were being shut down, do you know that school did not shut down for one day? People were at home but still getting their own education. He has the Rikon Gado. He's the highest employer of labor in the Adamawa state. All these things are out there, and nobody is talking about it. So it's quite a weakness that we need to look at, and to tell people that, look, these things are not I will do. It is I have done. Yeah, and when it comes to the youth, most especially, everywhere I go, I keep saying it. He said he is ready to be a transitional president from the older generation to the youth. Apart from that, and he has backed that, he had 4 appointments. He appointed 4 SAs not long ago, and among those SAs, of the 4 of them are not above 40 years. That's to show you that when he comes, 50 or 60% of his cabinet will be people like me and you. So this is something that the youth can take home, that this government is ours. It is time for us. If you look at the 12 million new registered vote, about 9 million are youth. And then we give these people the vote, and then they go home, and then they just give us one political appointment of Minister of Youth and Sport. We need to play a part. And for us to play a part, the easiest way is for us to believe in Atiku Abubakar, because he has showed he will do it for us.
Oh, wow. These are very strong statements, and I think you've heard it all. It's left for you to make the choice. Do you actually believe that the PDP stands a better, or has a better chance in the forthcoming election? And with all the qualities mentioned, it's not just about, some rhetorics, but some very concrete points made from my guest today. Thank you so much, Mohammed Ahmed, for coming on my show. Really appreciate you. Would you want to say some final words before I let you go?
Yes, I would like to say that the PDP New Generation, as you know, is a new group that was formed like 5 or 6 months ago.
Okay.
And this group is in charge of promoting the ideologies of youth and women in the PDP. And for a very long time, the youth have been aggrieved that the PDP have been an older generation form of group. So that's why this PDP New Generation is created now to accommodate the youth and women in Nigeria. And as you know, the PDP Campaign Council is on. The PDP New Generation is going to bring its own special campaign council, exactly in collaboration with the PDP. But it will look the same with that of the PDP, and it will be 100% youth and women. So that as the older generation are playing their own part, us too, we are playing our own part, parallel to that of PDP, but work in synergy. So I think I implore every youth to come and join the PDP New Generation so that they can play their own part in the policy making or political process of the country.
All right. Well, that's how it's been today on the Statesman Podcast with Swat Junior. Thank you so much for joining me. Make our time again to join me. There will be equally interesting issues as they progress within the political scene in Nigeria. This is where we say thank you, and I will see you next time.